everybody, and happy Monday. All right, just bear with me here. I want to recenter my character a little bit. So, good evening, good evening, good evening. And we are live for another stream. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the episodes or uh, chan or the streaming information that I'm doing with lettering and reading comics. So tonight I'm not going to do reading of any of Enormous. I'm going to maybe hold that off for Friday night. Um, no stream Wednesday night this week. But I will be doing Friday night, and so tonight I'm going to be focusing on the lettering aspect and talking about my adventures with Superman. I just finished season two, so I want to talk about both seasons and what I think could have been done better on the show. Friday night, I'm probably gonna do some vidja gaming, hopefully here for a little bit. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna kind of focus more on the lettering aspect tonight, just because I want to work on getting some of this stuff done that for Neo, because he's running short on time and stuff like that. So I do want to kind of focus more on that for tonight. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in here. So I'm gonna reposition my avatar here, and then I'm gonna bring up. Okay. All right. So I gotta now bring up my script. So I know one of my friends asked me about why I don't use, setting up like shortcuts and stuff like that on doing uh, why I don't use shortcuts on my program here, Affinity. Because one of the good things is you can set up shortcuts. I kind of don't do that because I like to make sure things are going correctly and things are done right. Because I find when you set up those macros and stuff like that, a lot of times things can go wrong. So I'm the type of person I like to focus more on, you know, yeah, going into the drop menus and changing stuff. But that's just me here. So uh, okay, so we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna get started here. Um, for me, it is about. I mean, yes, could it speed up my process? 100%. It could, and it would speed up here. Once again, though, I like to keep control over my stuff. Yeah, I know it's redundant. You're like, Chuck, you should be your Volt. You should be able to do those things. I'm like, well, I know I should, but it's more like, do I want to? That's the thing. And yeah, I know. Um, but again, I like people to see my process, what I do and stuff like that. Um, and stuff like that. Okay, now, okay, so we're gonna bring this down here. We're gonna bring this down here. We're gonna bring this down here. Okay, now another one of those silver works ships is heading towards the village. Shellman village. What would you have us do? Okay. And then we're going to go to the middle here. All right, now. So we just want to, you know, and like I said, as I'm doing this, I am going to discuss Superman here. So one of the things in watching, my adventures with Superman. So The one thing I will say that I do like that they are doing they are doing it in 10 episode arcs. So which is kind of not overstating its welcome. What because one thing about the show that I definitely feel that is the weakness of the show is there is too much uh a lot of times the scenes will be like the scenes cut very quickly. They're very short, so it is definitely a lot of the scene happens and then it's cut real short. The scene happens and it cuts real short, and it's like the cuts from scene to scene just really jump, and that now for some people, depending on how you are watching stuff, how you're used to watching cartoons and stuff like that, it can be a problem. Um, it does feel very different compared to especially like when you look at Superman TSA or say Justice League and stuff like that. Now I haven't watched Batman the Cape Crusader yet. Um but it definitely feels the same way like the like X-Men 97. Like I felt like one of my problems like with X-Men 97 was like scenes didn't get enough time to be established. They kind of jumped very quickly between uh the scenes and stuff like that. It's like you have and I know the downside is when you have 20 minutes 20 to 25 minutes on an episode, a lot of times you're going to do that. You're going to jump from scene to scene to scene, and that is a big aspect. So the first season, if I had to, let's start with what would I grade the first season. Let's start there. So the first season was fairly cool. Um, there were some things I didn't particularly care about. There are some major changes in terms of the lore for Superman. Um, a lot of villains brought in. I mean, right off the get go, you're looking at Deathstroke, Taskmaster, or Task Force X. Professor Ivo's brought in season one. You see a guy working for Ivo. They don't drop his name um, in that episode. It's not till season two you find out who that character really is. Um, and so they made like they really updated Jimmy and Lois's character. Uh, I actually particularly like the look of Lois. I don't know why. I just think the way they did her. I like the tomboy look on her and stuff like that. Um, I think they still could have done the tomboy look with maybe like a ponytail and stuff like that. Still think she could have pulled it off, but it wasn't bad. Jimmy was done very well. I think I could see Jimmy the way they did it. Yes, he was not your typical redhead. He was African American, which is fine. I mean, it works. It's a different universe. So this is not the this is a I mean they established that right for the get go from season one that this is a multi universe and that this Superman exists in multiple universes and stuff like that. It's actually fairly quickly. I mean, like one of the villains they reveal, fairly quickly off on who deals with the multiverse. But uh, first episode of season one had Livewire. So she was still female. They did gender swap Heat Wave, and they do have a romance relationship between the two of them, which I could take that or leave that. That doesn't bother me. Some people, yes, it will bother. For me, you know, it's what you expect in modern day animation because again, it's not made for old fans like me. It is made for the modern audience. Which again, if you know anything about what the modern audience actually means, you'll understand what I mean by that. But I mean, it's still there are still a lot of call outs to the classic Superman things and stuff like that. Superman does have the current S that's going to be in um, James Gunn's Superman. I am actually not a fan of the S, that shape of the S. It's I mean it's okay. I am a fan of the more classic S from the '90s. It is closer to if you would compare it, I would put it closer to the uh, Superman Beyond series, where Superman is gray hair and stuff like that. Set in the Batman Beyond universe, where Superman's got gray hair, he's got a silver and black suit and stuff like that, and yes, it's more stylized and stuff. So rarely nod back to that. Uh, that this Superman is a lot younger. He is like 22, 23, I would say, give or take. Because the first season opens up with him. He's an intern at the Daily Planet. So, and him and Jimmy are actually friends before it gets established. Now they do not know his identity in the beginning. Of course, that does change down the road, and it does cause some tension between Lois and Clark. Um, but it's not bad. Like I said, if I were to rate it the first season, I would give the first season probably I would say maybe a 6.5, 7. Like it was decent, you know. The second season definitely upped the ante in terms of what the who Superman was fighting. They introduced Jack Irons, which was really cool. I was really or John Henry, excuse me, John Henry Irons. Not Jack Irons. That's my friend's indie comic, but John Henry Irons. Uh, they introduced Lex. The Sam Lane, of course. They deal with some issues with Sam Lane. Um, they did an episode where Heatwave, kind of Heatwave and Livewire are helping Lois and Jimmy out with something. Um, so they kind of made them more like, instead of bad guys, kind of more like mercenaries for hire, which wasn't bad. Again, that I didn't see, but the biggest, of course, they introduced Kara, uh, and they changed the backstory, and of course, they introduced Brainiac, which I thought was a kind of a different take on Brainiac, which I mean, the fact of I mean, it's kind of been done before in the storyline, but the aspect of the way they introduced him and what he did with the destruction of Krypton was really cool. I thought it was really, and then you find out, like other stuff going on, like what Brainiac has done and who he's controlling. I do like that there were some other things that I thought they did was really cool, in terms of uh, excuse me, sorry about that. I just had to check to see. Oh, there's some of the stuff that I thought that was really cool that they did with Brainiac. There were some aspects they kind of really got into with like his backstory of who Brainiac was, like different stuff like how he handles his constructs and like how he formed and stuff like that. So of course, and then they arc that into Superman having to fight Kara and Brainiac, and then of course having to defend Earth and stuff like that. So the second season I thought was a little bit better, so I would actually give it like a 7.5. Again, the downside about the show is like it is a quick watch because of the amount of cutting from scene to scene to scene. I would say each scene was probably no more than 30 seconds to maybe a minute at the most. And for me does that is a downside where they are jumping and stuff like that. But if you can stomach it, I mean, like, I would recommend sitting down and watching it. It is not like your classic Superman at all. This is a more different take on Superman. If you are a diehard old Superman fan, do I think this would be something you would want to watch? I don't know. the only reason why I watched it is because I am a big Superman fan, and I just wanted to see what they did. Like I said, I thought it was enjoyable. Some of the stuff I could, take or leave. It doesn't bother me one way or the other. I know some people are like, oh, well, it's too woke for me and stuff like that. I don't really care about, it can be. I just think that, it's cartoons. It's for kids. It's not for adults. It's a cartoon for kids. Whereas I think like Superman TSA was definitely a lot more towards the classic Superman fans. Your 13, 14, 15, your teenagers, early 20s, and stuff like that. Definitely Superman TSA and Batman TSA definitely focuses more on that. So um, you know, I would love to be able to, actually sit there and do a review like of each episode. But the problem is, I got to be careful because I've now done two videos. So last Friday night, I did a react to, y- you know, them doing a trailer for Creature Commando, which I love. Task Force M. I'm a big fan of Frankenstein and the monsters and stuff like that. They actually did a comic series called Task Force M, and also also did it as Creature Commandos and stuff like that. So I did a react to that trailer dropping on Friday, and as I expected, WB hit me again with a copyright. Now it doesn't affect it does not affect me in terms of taking my channel down or anything like that. But again, if I grow bigger, it does affect my monetization. So I have tried challenging, my previous ones, and with WB, they don't care. So the downside is, I think, doing any reviewing of mainstream like Marvel, DC comics, because I would love to be able to read the DC comics online, Marvel comics online, because being a huge fan of Neymar, I don't want to risk doing that stuff because I don't want to lose my ability to stream because I love streaming. I enjoy doing it. So that's why I kind of stick to the indie comics and stuff like that, and to lettering. And so that's why I would love to be able to sit there and just like, maybe watch it, or we can do like a commentary on it. But I know right away that Warner Brothers would. I could probably do it on Twitch. I'm not sure because I didn't get it. Wasn't on Twitch. It was on YouTube that I got hit. Uh, but Twitch did not hit me with a copyright strike. So I could probably do it there, but I wouldn't be able to stream to YouTube at the same time. Which that's the point when you're a multi-streamer, you want to be able to stream to both Twitch and YouTube. Um, all right, so let's go ahead here. All right, so I'm going to do this next line here. All right. So now my goal this week is I am going to try to watch. I do want to watch the Cape Crusader. That is my goal this week is to watch Batman the Cape Crusader. Um, I do believe it's only 8 episodes. Let's see here, Batman the Cape Crusader. Oh no, it is 10 episodes. Okay, well, hey, that's good. That's fine. I'm okay with 10 episodes. See, I like that they're doing that again. I'm down with that. I have kind of thought about going back and redoing, rewatching Harley Quinn. I've only watched the first 2 seasons, so I may go back and rewatch uh, Harley Quinn. Um, Let me see here. Yeah. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. That was only 10 episodes. Now I haven't figured out if Marvel, like I haven't tried anything with Marvel yet. in terms of, you know, would Marvel hit me with a copyright strike? I'm kind of on the fence with them doing that if they would. Um, but yeah. So okay. All right, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, so like I have Marvel's to watch. All right. All right, so let's go back to our lettering here. Okay, so this is going to have to change here because I need to. Because I don't want to overcover one face. So let's do that. We're going to bring this in. Let's bring this in a little bit more. Okay. All right. Face. Okay. Right to the center. 20.0. Okay. Alright, that's going to stay at 20.0. Okay. So other things I actually do have planned. So I'm going to be doing some. I'm also going to be doing some reviews and stuff like that. Um, too. So I have I did a video some time ago on Cutie Honey. So I wanted to redo that review. Um, I have some other stuff like I do got to get I do have Motor Girl that I got to get reviewed. I have 5 years Omnibus, Strangers in Paradise that I want to get reviewed. So these are things I've already read. Now I do need to read Parker Girls. I'm a huge fan of Terry Moore, so I want to get his stuff done. I do have some manga that I want to get reviewed. The problem is re- reviewing manga, unfortunately, kind of can be a double-edged sword because sometimes you can get hit. Reviewing. Now, I did get hit on the Cutie Honey one, which was good on my earlier version of that, and I didn't get hit on my Ghost in the Shell. So I do have an updated version of my Ghost in the Shell that I'm gonna be releasing. Um, that's the original hardback that I have. I do have a series called Storm Riders that I need to do a review of. I have a couple of issues of a series called Dice that I need to get review of, and I got some other stuff like I got to get my review of like some DC comics done and stuff like that. So I do actually we'll have a hopefully, as we go through here, I'll start getting some more original content done and stuff like that for people to watch on both the YouTube channel and maybe like premiering some stuff here. Okay, let's see here. We're gonna go. Okay, we're gonna go that way. Let's do. We're gonna bring that up. We're gonna bring that down. We're gonna bring this up. We're gonna bring that down. Bring that up. Bring that down. And bring that up. Go to the village. And see what's up. Okay. All right, let's flip that and let's see if that does. Flip vertically. Okay. Let's bring this down. Let's do this. We're gonna backspace that for a little bit. Let's bring that down. Bring that up. Bring that down. All right, now we're gonna bring this in a little bit. We're gonna bring the tail in. We're gonna close that up a little bit. We're gonna bring this in a little bit. Okay. Alrighty. See if we got any comments here. Oh. You want? I can try and scale back the dialogue. No, I can get it in. But yeah, it's fine. Fine, Neo. Sorry, no, that's okay. Glad you're able to at least say something here. Join in. My friend Neo is on YouTube chat right now. Unfortunately, I haven't figured out how to get the YouTube chat to show up on OBS, which I got to figure that out. Let me. I wonder if there is a way I could do that. Okay. How to chat to OBS. Here we go. We're gonna try this and see if it works. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna pop out the chat. Pop out chat. Copy. Okay. Let's see if this works. If maybe I can Twitch chat. So let's do this? YouTube chat. There you go. Okay. There we go. Haha. Can I? Let's pop it up over here in the corner here. Wonder if there's a way I can make it transparent. Properties. No, actually, you know what? Let's do this. We're gonna bring her down here. All right. Got her. Got it. Spectre Man Heroes book. Yeah, Neil, I'm kind of behind too. There's like a lot I'm behind on because I've been reading. I've been trying to catch up with my manga, so like I haven't been really reading a lot of my American comics and stuff like that. I did well. I will say the other night I did read. There was a series I read called Star Crossed, which was kind of very interesting concept. Unfortunately, it's one I can't show on stream because of the there's some let's just say stuff that isn't the best in there. Um, but so anyhow, let's see if maybe I can set color to custom color. Let's go to blue. Let's try blue and see what happens. Nope. Okay, that doesn't work. Transform. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to work on that there. So yeah, unfortunately, there's some questionable artwork in there that that would break both TOS on both Twitch and YouTube, which really sucks because the series was really good. It's like what if human beings met interdimensional aliens and stuff like that, and it's about this guy basically. He uh, after a tragic event in his life, he basically just kind of like buckled down and he uh, kind of like went all out. He focused on his career, ended up getting into NASA and moving up and stuff like that. And so he's chosen for this secret mission. Um, where they go out and this is set a little bit in the future where human beings are able to travel within the solar system. So they actually go out to Jupiter, towards Jupiter, and they meet this alien ship out there, and they meet these aliens, and basically there is some manipulation going on from the alien species to now they're not evil or not trying to they're not there's a reason why they're not like trying to take over our planet or anything like that, but there's actually a reason why they're doing what they're doing, but there is some manipulation going on from the alien species because what they do is kind of like the Borg. they add the genetic diversity into their genome. So they actually had basically plans to settle on the planet Earth, and like 40% of their population would move to Earth, and 40% of our population would move to this other planet and stuff like that. So that way they can mix in. Well, these two main characters that they end up meeting, and there's an attraction between the two, and it's kind of like I said, it's kind of manipulated and stuff like that, and there's some things that happen and stuff like that where you find out this tragic event that happened to him. He was actually set to marry a he had a girlfriend who was African American, and he was really in love with her, and he found out she found out she was pregnant by him, and basically both sets of parents basically manipulated the event to where the guy and the girl ended up like the parents uh, of the guy, lied and told lies about what he was, and he only wanted her for this particular reason. And he was actually in love with her. He wanted to marry her and everything. He wanted a family with her because his parents were very crappy. And one of his things was he always wanted a family. And so both sides of the family, her family did not want him to hook up with. Did she? They basically said that her parents were saying, "Oh, well, he only used you for sex," and of course, the white family is like, "Oh, well, no, he's only using you. You're going to be this burden on him. You're going to stop him from going on and stuff like that." So here you find out that this is the reason why he just kind of he never formed any relationships with anybody or anything like that. Never dated after this, and so he moves on, and you find out why he's so depressed. So anyhow, well, these alien species actually have a way to uh, to them time is not linear. Basically, for humans, time is linear and stuff like that. Well, they were able to with their technology, based on all these thousands of years, they are able to basically transverse the universe in an instant and stuff like that. So anyhow, so meanwhile, so the U.S. government thinks that this guy is so he's falling in love with the alien girl, uh, and there's some stuff that happens with them, and so he's in for he they the United States government basically thinks that he's given these aliens like secret information and stuff like that, and he's like, no, 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 I'm not. I really love this woman. And she's vice versa doing the same thing to the aliens. She's saying, no, I really love this. When actually what ends up happening is kind of the same thing what happened with his family, like they're keeping them apart. Hence the term why it's called star-crossed. So they're trying to keep them apart. Well, he basically what he doesn't want to go down the same path as before because he really wants a family. He wants to be with somebody. So he's like in love with this woman and stuff like that. And so he basically sabotages the ship so he can get over to the alien species ship and rescue the girl. Well, he was actually able to convince the aliens that they could live together and stuff like that. And both of them, like I said, both of them loved each other. And what ends up happening, you find out, he finds out that the aliens were manipulating him because she didn't want to lie to him anymore, and he was rightfully so upset. But what ends up happening is she becomes pregnant, and you find out actually that she's not actually humanoid. Their species it actually shapeshifts. Like they actually have like an endoskeleton and stuff like that, and they like this almost like a pea pod, and they can actually change their they can change their inner shape and stuff like that based on whatever species they come across. Well, Again, their species adds genetic diversity, and this is how their species have kept going. Well, the problem is they find out that the human beings are not compatible with them at all. Even though she's humanoid and stuff like that, she had like the aliens have taken on a human construct, an ability, but they cannot mate with humans because something in our genomes do not match. So it's almost kind of like that. A cat can't mate with a dog, and vice versa. A cat kind can only mate with a cat kind. Even though like they can mate, like this species can mate with almost everybody else in their in the universe and stuff like that, they can't mate with humans. Uh, so what ends up happening is the same thing repeats herself. He doesn't want her to because she's dying from the fact that she's pregnant with uh the baby. The baby's actually growing at an exponential rate because of their species, and it's actually killing this lady from the species. So like what ends up happening while he's doing this, he actually uh they have the species has this role is they can actually see different people's like their lifeline, and they have a rule that they don't show this out. Yeah, it is. It is convoluted. Trying to explain it out, it is better to read it. But anyhow, like it was a very interesting story. Um, it is one of those things that is very very convoluted, and definitely I recommend you read it. I thought it was really good. It's done by Image Comics. I thought it was really good. Highly recommended. I would give it about a good 7. It's a good read. But there's there's like a lot of real world elements that kind of are addressed in the story and stuff like that. And yeah, a lot of metaphysical stuff, and yeah, that's why it's very hard. It is very hard to explain like a lot of stuff because it's like metaphysical stuff completely all the way through. But yeah, so I read that. Another one that I read was DC versus the Vampires. Um, I was uh, let's just say the vampire thing is overplayed. Uh, I've been very disappointed about the last couple DC crossovers. DC deceased. DC versus the Vampires were definitely yeah, exactly. I agree. And it felt like someone tried to explain one of Tetsuga's science sci-fi films. Exactly. It's like trying to explain, say, like As Geisenhoff and stuff like that, or Arthur C. Clarke. It is because there's so much metaphysical stuff in the stuff, or even Highline. So. But anyhow, I definitely recommend if you guys get a chance. I would read it. I thought it was pretty good. Um, I could maybe, let me see if I can maybe show the cover. Yes. Okay. Image comics. See if maybe I can get it that way. Oh, humanoids. I'm sorry. I thought it was. I thought it was. Um. I thought it was. Okay, let's bring this down. We're gonna bring this over here. So basically, it is a Romeo and Juliet story. Yeah, I agree, Neo. Like, I really felt like DC Heroes in Crisis was really, really, really crappy storyline. Like, now I will say, like, the Dark Knights of Steel is a really good storyline. I haven't finished it yet, but I thought it was pretty good. So here basically is what it's done by humanoids, and if you guys haven't read them, they're generally a EU company. And it says their love would threaten the entire piece of the galaxy, an interstellar romance in the spirit of Romeo and Juliet. It is the dawn of a new era for humanity. An encounter of the fourth kind has been made with an advanced species known as the Erotararch. The two civilizations embarked on a path towards mutual understanding. For this classified mission, CIA linguist Danko Orton is recruited to analyze interspecies communication along an enteric Enotarch counterpart by the name of Naomi. Under the pressures of governmental cross examination, their mission to bridge their culture quickly takes on a dangerous dimension where they're forced to confront their attraction to one another. Will Naomi and Danko's blossoming love compromise everything generations of their species have been building towards? So, but like I said, it was pretty good. I read the digital version. I did also enjoy the Terrifics back when it was going, along with Batman and the Outsiders. Unfortunately, nothing. Yeah, like I thought that Batman Outsiders was an okay series for me. I didn't read the Terrifics, but yeah, I agree. Like there hasn't been like DC has been like in this really really weird funk for me. Um, I think they're all. I think DC's kind of floundering in the dark right now. Um, on what's going on. So like, am I still reading DC? Yeah. Um, like I've been mostly focusing on the Elseworld stuff, like Dark Knights of Steel and stuff like that. I have been getting Action Comics, but I haven't read it yet. And of course, Superman. Been getting Power Girl. Got the 6 issue series of Superboy with him going back to his classic costume. I haven't read it yet, but it has been frustrating in terms of like the storyline. Again, I them really just deconstructing Superman and making him move out of like his normal things and stuff like that. I really I've been really disappointed. Let's just say. All right, let me finish. Let me go ahead and do these saves here real quick. I gotta export these all. Export as a TIFF file. All right, we're gonna go here, and we're gonna replace that. Okay, export. We're gonna do JPEG. Yeah, yeah, and that's one of my biggest issues. Neo is they're introducing all these story plots and stuff like that. Like I would have that actually sounds really cool. I think Black Lightning and Katana, that could have been very interesting relationship wise, because they come from two different unique backgrounds, and if they would have had them have some sort of relationship, and that's the thing is like I think just DC really again is like before before the New 52 kind of was floundering, before they did Rebirth, like I think they're in that point right now where they're just kind of back again, just floundering. And I said this on a post on Twitter. I said that I really believe that this absolute Superman, this absolute Wonder Woman, and absolute power. Sorry, you had to grab something drink there. I think it's gonna. I think it's gonna bomb. I really believe it's gonna bomb because DC does not like their classic heroes at all. They do not want to stick to anything classic at all. Like I really felt like uh like the whole death metal stuff, like the introducing the omniverse and stuff like that. Uh, like the Dark League universe, Crisis, the Dawn of DC, like all this stuff. What? Like you would think he would have been in like the not the main Justice League team, but even what is um not the Justice Society, but they have their other one. Man, I can't think it off the top of my head of what that. It's kind of like the B team, like where like fire, ice, Hawk and Dove, and I'm not talking about the Outsiders or Teen Titans. They're uh, what is that? I don't want the Justice League of America. There was, and not of course the Justice League Dark. Because I mean, there was a Justice League, and then there was Justice League America, um, Justice League Europe. Justice League International. No, well, yeah. I mean, the Justice League, the JLA was like either like yeah, that's kind of been synonymous with just the Justice League, because it's technically it is the Justice League of America, but no, it's Justice League International. Like that's the team I could see him on, or maybe even the Justice League Detroit, because they have. But yeah, the Justice League International team, I could see him on. Possibly like Argus, because that's like Catwoman and uh, you know I could see him with Argus, because Black Lightning was a cool character. Like now I wasn't a big fan of the WB show or the CW show, but as a character, uh, Black Lightning is a very good character. He's a cool character. I look at him as the same level as I do with Luke Cage. He's a street level character. He's the guy who kind of gets in there like Luke Cage does, like Daredevil. Um, those are the guys that kind of do the nitty gritty stuff. Where like Superman and Wonder Woman and all those guys, they do the world saving. Black Lightning, Katana, um, Hawkman and stuff like that, Stargirl. Like those are the guys. Those are the team. Those are the ones that are kind of on the ground. Along with Ollie and stuff like that. Like that's why I thought Justice League International would be like the team he'd be on. Uh, let's see here. Yeah, like Justice League United. He could be on there, on that team. Then there for a while, Batman, of course, had his own. He had his own Justice League of America team there for a little bit. But I think overall, like if I were gonna do it, I think Justice League International would be uh where he would do. All right. So I did get to see Deadpool versus Wolverine. Um. Yeah, like I think that was kind of the way I felt like that was a way like they kind of just started doing that in the later seasons of the Flash too. So like that was one of my frustrating things too. Like it really became virtual signaling, you know, and you can somebody could say, well, that's down to Gus and Grant because he's LGBTQ, but if they could do like the first season, if they were able to do the first season that way, the first few seasons having a good decent amount of superheroing, why can't you just keep it? Like Black Lightning to me, like it should have been the way they did with Luke Cage. I mean that's just me like or instead of Black Lightning, they could have done a live action Static Shock because I think that would have been actually better than Black Lightning. That's just my opinion. I think Static Shock would have been a better. Uh, Now I'll talk about Deadpool versus Wolverine here in a few moments here, but I just want to see here. Yeah, just this article. Oh, speaking of, yeah, like I thought one of the greatest twists that I really loved about like Flash in the beginning was you found out that like his mentor was the villain. Like that for me was like you're like holy crap, like his mentor was the villain, is the one or the that came like I thought the first couple, I would say the first maybe 2 to 3 seasons when they finally crossed over with Arrow, like I thought that was really good. But then definitely after that, like they started going downhill when they started bringing in all the different like making Caitlin Frost like I can under making her giving her the ability. I mean, I kind of see why they did that because they wanted more. They should have just left her a villain, Caitlin. Like I think making her Killer Frost and making her a hero. Um, I didn't care for that at all. I felt it was a downside. So okay, so let's damage. It felt like a gritty version of David Hawk Banner. I'll have to look at that. I'll see what I'll have to look into that. So into more superhero talk real quick here before I do talk about Deadpool versus Wolverine here. My Hero Academia is wrapping up. We are getting uh it is going to be wrapping up here. I do know. Here's the thing: what a lot of people don't realize the final, wrap up is probably going to take a little while and stuff like that. But I do know that is going to be. I hate that CBR is doing what everybody else is doing. You gotta shine in for create a log acid. No. um, let's see if I can maybe get a my hero. A good ending. Okay. So yeah, they did confirm it. The original manga creator did affirm that it is um, a hero. They did do. I guess from what I'm seeing here, it says okay. Yeah. So it says here. My Hero Academia has officially ended, wrapping up major plot points, emotional characters arc for fans worldwide. Now, I did kind of, I was reading My Hero pretty regularly, but I stopped for a while just because, um, I'm kind of waiting for the volumes to finish up. I was reading like the individual stuff, so I'm kind of waiting for the volumes to finish up, so that way I can go back and re-release. Okay, so a surprise 8-year skip to the final chapter shows Deku as a retired hero turned teacher at UA, passing on his legacy. Despite being quirkless, Deku becomes a hero once again with a new battlesuit, continuing to save people alongside his friends. After 10 years of serialization in the weekly Shonen Jump magazine, My Hero Academia has officially concluded, which is both good news and bad news for the fans. Becoming successful in a jump that the way My Hero Academia did is not easy for any mangaka, and that is precisely why Hikoroshi was touted as one of the most brilliant authors of recent time. Taking up the mantle from the likes of Kishimoto, Kubo, and many others, Horikoshi had a tough job cut out for him, but he certainly lived up to all expectations. It is because of this story was so beloved that fans wanted to see an eventual end and witness their favorite heroes concluding their journeys as hero students. At the same time, fans dreaded this conclusion because the last chapter release would mean that there would be no more My Hero Academia content. Now, the series has officially ended, with the ending finally being published by the author, but of course, the fans have made up. Uh, what the fans make of the ending is up to them. But it's safe to say the series has been one of the most successful ones recent time and has inspired million people over the years. The My Hero Academia time skip. My Hero Academia has seen a 8-year time skip take place. So we see here, and then so we see Deku and yeah. Well, I know that's the thing is too. Um, I haven't had as much time to really focus on anime as much as I want to. Um, just because as much as I loved My Hero, uh, like I love Slime. Reincarnated as Slime. I loved Shield Hero. The problem is with a lot of these shows, you're 60, 80, 70 episodes. Um, I don't have time to sit there and watch those kind of episodes. So for me, 13 episodes is very good. Like a 12 to 13 episode series is good hand for me. Maybe 26 at the most. I just prefer shorter series because I can. I don't even care if it's broken up in 12 episodes across like multiple seasons. It's just having those 13 episodes for me at a time is good because it's easy. I can get it finished in a day. Now, unfortunately, with me starting back up streaming and stuff like that, of course, my time is going to be eaten up even more. And I'm trying to build the channel out. Plus, got to get this work done on comics and stuff like that. So, all right. So, quite a lot of fans were expecting there to be a time skip in My Hero Academia chapter 430, which is the final chapter of the series, and it's precisely what ended up happening. And the fans got incredibly exciting time skip at the very beginning of the chapter. In fact, the beginning of the chapter took fans back to chapter 1 of the series, where the same dialogue about people not being born equal was repeated by Izaku, the narrator of the story. Back then, he mentioned that this was a story about how he became the greatest hero, but now Izaku mentions that this was a story about how he and his friends became the greatest heroes. And of course, Izaku had his name etched in history. And it was simply because he won the war against the League of the Villains and won all for one. He became the greatest hero of all time, but with that, there came many hardships for him as well. The loss of Shiragaki haunted him forever. At the same time, he also ended up giving up his greatest power, the one for all. He started his journey as a quirkless boy, and he ended it as a quirkless boy once again, which meant that his story became full circle. Fans got to see quite a exciting things in My Hero Chapter 430. For starters, the reader saw how things worked out for different characters during the years of the time skip in a small montage of panels. Their fans saw things like Deku and his classmates studying for various tests, All Might helping Gran Torino to walk, characters like Morocco trying new weapons, Deku visiting his mom once again, even the very graduation day of the students. This was all an emotional collection of panels that fans certainly took their time going through, and it brought back a rush of memories for all those years they witnessed. So, I think, yeah, like I can see that, but the problem is, Neo. I think with him now being quirkless, I have a feeling like that would cause some problems. Um, I think like I could see them kind of maybe like I could see more for My Hero just for him doing the next generation of heroes and stuff like that. Maybe you could see some more of that world. I mean, I like that they could probably do that, but him being only 25 and him no longer being quirkless. I mean, that does kind of stink. But I want to see the journey on how they do it. I definitely am going to go back and once it's done, that would be cool. That definitely would be cool. Um, Yeah, so I see that I think I see the fact of him losing his abilities is kind of cool, and I think one of the reasons why I think it actually says here, they actually talk about it here. Come the end of the world, on the end of the war, Deku still has some embers of the All for One inside of his body. So I think he probably would, but he probably like how All Might was like he probably couldn't stay in that form. He couldn't use his abilities for long. Uh, and he says it was made clear that these embers do burn out in time, and he was now quirkless. But he didn't. Deku didn't have the quirk, but he still wanted to help the next generation. According to him, he lived out his dream, which should have been impossible, and he became the greatest hero of all time. Now that he saved the world, he doesn't need his dreams anymore. He considered them fulfilled already. But it's now time for him to help others fulfill their dreams, which is why he's in the UA. Fans also got to see Aizawa at Deku at helping Deku at UA and asking him to be stricter. So at the same time, fans saw a character named Dai introduced it into the story, and this young boy wanted to become a hero, just like All Might, Deku, and Dynamite, and many other powerful heroes. However, 8 years after this war, the world has moved forward so much that the rates of villains had dwindled greatly since the heroes have stabilized. This means becoming a hero is much more difficult than before. Such as for young Dai, becoming a hero is much more difficult than ever before, especially with his quirk of being able to produce plates from his hair. Among his classmates, he certainly isn't the one to shine, but he wants to become a hero. This is reminiscent of Midoriya at the beginning of his journey in My Hero Academia. It only makes sense to have Dai meet with Ozaku, and they certainly did when both of them came to All Might's statue. So, like, I think that it could like I think if they do pass on, like if he does kind of want to do more into My Hero, because I still think there's kind of more stories that can be done. You could have give some time, um and maybe like there's a new villain kind of like the one for all or all for one kind of resurfaces a little bit down the road and stuff like that because uh, you know uh you can see things change but anyhow looks like he does have looks like he does have a battle suit um so it looks like he does have this new battle suit was financed by his friends, especially Bakugo, who didn't care about Isaku and always had wanted to aid him, especially after feeling guilty of what he did to him in the past. Truthfully, this collective effort allowed Deku to become a hero once again, and he's so. It'd be interesting if, um, interesting. I followed a channel called We the Celestials, which kind of did some what if stories for My Hero, like what if Deku had Venom, or what if Deku had Slime Quirk. Interesting, interesting. So the nice thing I definitely like as a creator, I think that people should have a clear mind because you know what. I think one of the problems, for instance, if you look at say Bleach, or you look at like One Piece and stuff like that, or Dragon Ball. I think a lot of these did not have like a clear ending, and I've always been a fan of clear endings. I like when a story gets wrapped up, especially like if say like you're a kid when you started One Piece, and let's say you're 30 years old and One Piece is still going. Well, you get sick, um and unfortunately you pass away. That person is never going to know what that story is, which sucks. That's why I'm kind of glad that Kubo kind of wrapped up Bleach finally. I really like to see One Piece kind of end, and move on to other stuff. Okay, so let me go ahead and get this done here. Okay, so going back to my uh going back to and this kind of segues me into my feelings on Deadpool versus Wolverine, or Deadpool and Wolverine. Um, while I thought the movie was good, I'll be honest with you, I felt that um I actually thought Ryan Reynolds was the weak part of the whole movie. Um, that this is I know I'm probably gonna get flack for it and stuff like that, but yeah, like I really feel that uh Deadpool was the Deadpool. I don't know. It just didn't seem like Ryan Reynolds' heart was in it as much. I don't know if I'm reading it incorrectly, but that's just me. I just felt like I think they both had fun on the set to a degree, but at the same point, like I felt like both of them, uh, like I don't know, something felt very off on the movie, and I I don't know. So was it a good film? Like what was it done very well? Yes, it was done very well. But again, I think there was parts like I'm like okay, let's get to it. Let's like get to it. Like I felt the movie dragged in some part, and I felt the same thing as with Deadpool 2. Like there were parts of Deadpool 2 that kind of very just did the same thing where it just drug. Um, and whereas for me, like the first Deadpool was just like bam, 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 bam. It was just firing on all cylinders for me. Whereas like I said, Deadpool 2 and Wolverine, the third one, just struggled for me as much. It was a good movie, Like I definitely thought it was a fun film, but it was yeah, like I think that's really what it was. I really think, in my opinion, Hugh Jackman stole that film 100% across. In my opinion, it was Hugh Jackman all the way. Like he was, um, uh, like there was, and I think the other aspect that when you bring time travel into a movie, there are always going to be issues when you're dealing with time. Because of how time, there's so many different theories about how time works and stuff like that. Like, it does kind of go back and say to the ending of Logan and say, well, okay, well, Logan's whole point of him sacrificing himself was kind of a was it a mute point? Was it? Yeah, yeah, I can see that, Neo. Like I the other thing too for me was I think one of the issues I had with uh the second movie, and I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for this, unfortunately. I am not the biggest, let me be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Josh Brolin. That's just me. Um and so that's I think that's part of the problem is that you know I just felt he was not that good of a Cable. I think Stephen Lang could have held that role so much better, in my opinion. Um, all right, let me get back to here. Like again, I think one of the problems you have, like I feel like, again, when you're dealing with time travel, because that's what Cable is, when you're dealing with time, and I know this is the direction Marvel wanted to go in terms overall, in terms of, you know, of how their characters are and stuff like that. When you're dealing with time travel, that's the problem. You're not the fan of Goonies. Goonies doesn't bother me. I'm okay with Goonies. That actually doesn't. The Goonies movie didn't bother me. Um, time travel is just wonky when you're dealing with time travel. It's just a wonky. I feel sometimes time travel is a element that can uh um how can I word this? Time travel deals with, especially because of how the many different theories on how time travel works and stuff like that. Excuse me. It's very hard to deal with stories and stuff like that. And I think a lot of times time travel can be when you're dealing with alternate timelines, multiverse and stuff. It really is like a cop out. Yeah, I know he is. No, it's just that I I just I just I don't know. I just don't. I particularly just. I know he played Mikey's brother. I just don't think he's that good of an actor. Well, let me rephrase that. He's an okay actor. I just did not like him as Cable. And actually, I think his Thanos is very boring. That's just me. You know. and I'm not knocking anybody who likes it. It's just for me, like I just felt that I just felt that Josh Brolin was not a good um thing. Like so like one of my big issues that I had, like it was like like they really changed Vanessa's character. Like there were things they did, like I just felt that I don't know. It's just that I felt that um yeah, see, and that's the whole thing. So you have, and that's the other thing too. Deadpool, and that brings Thanos to Deadpool because Deadpool and Lady Death, like I thought that that's the direction they were going to go in with Vanessa. Like I thought that they were going to make her Lady Death. Like, and they completely dropped the ball. Like when they had that sequence in the second movie and stuff like that. Like I really thought, like when she died, like yeah, like I think part of the problem is like you're dealing with um I think you're dealing with people, writers and stuff like that, who never read any of the comics at all. I just feel like none of them read any comics, especially the Infinity Gauntlet. Like you know, like they wasted Adam Warlock. Like Adam Warlock should have been in the whole Infinity Gauntlet story because Adam Warlock is a major part of that storyline. But what did they make it? They made him into a joke in frickin' Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, did I like Guardians of the Galaxy 3? Yes, I enjoyed it. But still, that is an arc they did not even need. They did not need Adam Warlock in that storyline. They could have went with somebody else. Um. So again, am I so coming back to Deadpool and Wolverine, or Deadpool Wolverine, whatever. You know, like I don't know. I'm kind of really starting to check out on a lot of media, and it sucks because I'm a huge Wolverine fan. I love Wolverine. I think Hugh Jackman is a great Wolverine. Like I think they did like the stuff they did with Wolverine, showing the different versions of him. Like his they showed his patch version. They showed his you know uh Age of Apocalypse version. They had the comic accurate universe version of him. Like so they like, and then they had the Henry Cavill version of him. So like I felt that like that was cool. Like I like that part. Um, I just felt like and of course the Wolverine they finally settled on, which I'm trying to figure out which version of that was of Wolverine that they kind of went with, and I think he's an alternate version that they didn't think. So I will say again, um, like I thought one of the cool things was seeing a cameo of say Chris Evans uh as Johnny Storm. Was that cool? Yes. Um, and I love the running gag about it was there was this running gag with him and between him, Deadpool, and Wolverine, and the villain does something to him, and you find out actually what happens at the end of the film, which was pretty funny. It was that was kind of humorous. Um, they did have they had to they basically did have they had the Juggernaut version of the X movie version of Juggernaut, the Fox version of him, than some of the other Fox characters and stuff like that. So they had Blade there, which was really cool, and I loved Wesley Snipes' line, fantastic. They did have Shada Channing as um, uh, Gambit, which I thought was okay. Like I think he did a good version, but now that he's older, I don't know if it would work very well. I thought he was good, for what it was, and they had him speaking Creole, which was cool. I loved it. They did have Jennifer Gardner back as Elektra, and then they had the girl back who played X-23, and these are all the Fox versions of everything, which and the New Line Cinema version, which was cool. I really liked it. I thought that was really cool. That was a cool aspect, and there was a really cool fight scene. The main villain they had was really cool. Uh, they did this scene with the Deadpool core, which I don't want to. No, well, that was kind of Bob and I kind of spoiled that the other night when we were talking about it. I'm sorry, but yeah, that, no, it's just that's actually already out there. Uh, on who the cameos is. It's a really it's been in the news, but I thought Channing Tatum, I would have liked to have seen a Channing Tatum version of that, and maybe having what's her name who played Rogue. Like they could have had them two together. I thought that would have been really cool. I would have really enjoyed that. Um, I definitely think we need another Wesley Snipes Blade. Um, I don't. I would just if I were Fox or if I was New Line Cinema. I mean, granted, everything's back with Disney now. Honestly, I would just put Wesley Snipes in the helm of Blade. I mean, all three Blade movies were good. I know a lot of people didn't like the third one. I thought the third one wasn't as bad as what people made it out to be. Now Triple H, like he was a crappy villain, but I thought it was pretty good. I mean, you know, so there was the main villain. There was technically three villains in it. Um, One who I don't know who it was. Um, they had Cassandra Nova as one of the villains. They had Mr. Paradox was another villain. Of course, Loki's TS, the time travel group that was with Loki, that they were in it, and yeah, yeah, uh, agreed. Unless he aged slowly again. But I don't think that would have worked. Um, as him as a character, I don't think that would have worked where he aged slowly. Uh, because if I remember correctly, no, they were. It's okay. It's all good, Neo. But they were good. I felt that they were. I felt that. I mean, the cameos were really cool. So I definitely think people and should go and see the movie. I thought it was good. Um, I mean, was it great? No, but it was good. I know a lot of people are gonna say, yeah, yeah, think it was just good. Yeah, it was good. You know, I can't get excited by movies the way I used to anymore. It's weird. Want to see who this other villain was. Okay. Don't even. So you brought people on who. Okay. Well, when you bring writers on who don't know anything about the stuff and who know anything about the characters. Uh, Mr. Paradox. Oh, Aloy is the villain, but again, I don't know who that is. Aloy. Okay, Aloy is a cloud-like matter-consuming entity that resides in the void and guards the citadel at the end of time. Aloy was created during the first multiverse war and was harnessed and weaponized by Kang variant, He Who Remains, to end the war. Okay, so a no-name villain. um, yeah, so they had what was really cool. Like I said, they had he played, like I said, comic book accurate Patch, Old Man Logan. Uh, there was him being crucified on the X giant X of which was a homage to the X Men 251. Um, then they had the John Byron version where him and the Hawk fight together. Like I said, they had the Age of Apocalypse version of him. So yeah, so like they had some really like that. I felt that they kind of had a few. So um, oh look, now mobile will let me chat. That's funny. That's funny. That is too funny. Yeah, like I would like to see, in all honesty, like is there going to be a? Do I think there's probably going to be a fourth Deadpool movie? Based on the numbers, probably. I would say a lot because a lot of people like it. I just think, I think part of the problem you deal with when you're dealing with Deadpool, like Spider-Man, I don't like all the different variants of a character and stuff like that when you're dealing a lot of times when you're dealing with stuff like that sometimes it takes you out, especially when they're in one movie. I don't know why it worked for Wolverine, but I felt Deadpool it didn't work. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh instead of not just enjoying the movie. um so maybe I'm just being too judgmental. So, so yeah, there's that. Uh, yeah, let me get. I want to finish this. I'm gonna try to. I know I got to get going here a little bit more, Neil. I'm taking too much time up, just yapping and not doing the work. Not enough doing too much yapping. Not enough doing the work. Not enough doing the work. Too much yapping. Master. They should introduce Master Pandonium. I don't remember that one. Master Pandonium. Oh, so he got his powers from Mephistos. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the fact is, if you tie it, if you actually have it where like you definitely bring Mistithos into this, like, uh, if he is technically the main antagonist behind, uh, Master Pandemonium, like I could see like that doing really well. Like, you see him doing all those things, and you can see him being able to summon demons and stuff like that. And but behind it, you do see the whole thing is Mephistos. Because then by then you could actually add, you're adding him into the whole element of everything, and you could then go into One More Day. You can do more of Doctor Strange, and stuff like that. Um, so and I know you really haven't spoken on this yet. Um, I know a lot of people are going crazy about the whole thing with Robert Downey Jr. being back as Doctor Doom and stuff like that. And I will be honest with you, I am disappointed in Marvel. Um, and I feel that they are. I think they're doing this because of what happened to Jonathan Majors. Uh, they they have got to wipe the Kang character out. Yeah, yeah, I could see that, Neo. Um, the problem is, like, so I think what's this is just my view on what's happening with Doctor Doom. I think that it is not the classic Doctor Doom that we know of. I think it is because there is a version of what if Tony Stark was Doctor Doom instead of Iron Man. So I think this is just me. I think that what they are going to do is they're going to go with that version of I think they're going to go with that version of Stark, and I think that version of Stark is going to basically be pissed of what has happened and that he's died. Like his version of that world's version of him has died, and this is him from another timeline affected by the multiverse. I say he's just a stand-in for a fake out. No, I don't think so. I think I think he killed the real Doctor Doom from the 616 universe and took his place. Uh, what issue was Tony Stark? Okay, so it's the Anthony Stark version. So here it goes. It says, okay, this is the version of him. Could be, could be to destroy who Tony Stark is. It could be it could be the fact of that it's trying to destroy what Tony Stark had done and stuff like that, and it's someone else using so here and this I could see where it had happening. During college, Victor Von Doom tricks Tony Stark into an experiment where his mind is transferred into Tony's body, while Tony's mind is transferred into Doom's body with his memory erased. Blamed for carrying out prohibited research, Tony was kicked out of college and forced to live a life of hardship as a Latvian commoner. After a first period of discouragement, Tony worked hard, reaching the achievement of more than one degree and following success in which the field of his industry innovation in the country of Latvia, which with his discoveries became to annoying the economic power of Stark Universal, which led by Victor Von Doom and Tony's body. Doom then tries to end the success of Doom Industries by wearing an armor he designed to sell to the highest bidder and sabotages the main Doom Industries research center. But Tony responded by wearing his own invention designed for rescue operations. The two clash. Eventually got the better of Doom, who defeated and revealed that he's the real Doom, that in exchange for his freedom he would reveal the truth. But Tony replied that the name of Tony Stark in the world was associated to greed, cruelty, and lust for power. He was now forever Victor Von Doom, an honorable person. So that could be what they're going with, or they could also be going with, what if Tony Stark had become Doctor Doom? This version of him. So it is definitely, in my opinion, it's going to be either one of those two versions, somewhat based off of it, or it could be based off of both versions. But I agree with you that I think somebody is definitely using Tony Stark, a clone. Could be a clone, could be a future version of Doctor Doom in Tony's body. Cloning, went back in time, took over Tony's body, whatever. I definitely agree. I definitely agree. You know, zoom tool, zoom out. Okay. Okay. Now, Doombot. Hey Neo, I would maybe go back. I do want to let you know on your script on page 8 on the script, but page 9 on the artwork. There is some information missing on the line. The line doesn't for Riserman at the end does not sound right. So I definitely want you to go back and look at that because it looks like it's either getting cut off or because you don't have like anything like dot 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 or is it supposed to be that way? All right. But I think that my issue is that is Marvel going to um are they going to, because of how everything has been performing, are they going to go back to their characters that work well? Because I suspect, and this is just me, that I don't think the next Avengers film is going to do well at all. Um, so what we could do is we could do like a sounds and then maybe do a dot dot and then like a question mark exclamation. Here, I'll we'll go off here. Like something like that. We'll move it up slightly. Well, Marvel does definitely have to. So, like, I think the Thunderbolts idea, like, I think that like I don't know, like, I don't know how the Thunderbolts idea is going to work out. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Red Hawk, so I just really wish maybe they could have done a Red Hawk and a Green Hawk movie before, like, like they do, like where the Green Hawk is hunting down the Red Hawk, but of course they don't know it's the Red Hawk. They just know they're blaming Hawk for all the problems, and you have it where Ross is hunting down hunting down Green Hawk, and he's trying to cause all these problems. Uh, Meanwhile, like Ross is suffering from like blackouts and stuff like that, and what you do is you have it where he's suffering from those blackouts, and what happens is you start piecing together that that there is this other Hulk, and that like he's like maybe they find burnt bodies and stuff like that, so they know it's towards the end they find like these burnt bodies, and they realize that Hawk is not, because the Green Hawk doesn't emit fire, whereas the Red Hawk does. So like so you have it where he's burning up these bodies, and maybe like there's like this town on fire and stuff like that from his destruction, and maybe what you do is you have it where Hulk is confronting Green Banner confronts Ross, and he's like, look, he's like, I know that he's like, I know that you're mad at me, and I'm willing to work with you on this to find out who this. And if Ross is starting to get ticked off and pissed off, all of a sudden you start seeing Ross change, like his face start morphing and stuff like that into the Red Hulk, and as he's morphing in, like you see Banner start, you realize Banner does the same thing. He's like, Banner has to change to confront, you know, the Green Hawk and stuff like that. And then Banner has to change to confront and stuff like that. Or you can even have it where like the Red Hawk, like, yeah, it is. It is definitely Super Soldier adjacent. Because that's the problem, is they set it up as a Super Soldier stuff. So instead of leaving how it originally came about, they kind of pigeonholed themselves into this this aspect of it being of the thing. Yeah, yeah. If Ruffalo didn't go off the deep end, so what do you think, Neo? Do you like it? Let me do a quick save as. Do you have a folder up online with the for me to copy these finished ones in for you? Okay. Yeah, just update it, and I'll work on. I can always come back to that. You can just let me know, because I'm gonna wrap up here. It's almost 9 o'clock, so um, I'll just hold off on creating the final versions here on this. So, all right, guys. Well, I want to thank you for listening in here. It's almost 9 o'clock here, my time zone, and I'm gonna, wrap it up here. And for those that are on Twitch, I'm gonna go ahead and raid out to somebody else on. For those that are on YouTube, I want to thank you guys for coming in and watching the stream now or later. I appreciate you guys that have supporting me. Thanks Neil for showing up. I appreciate you coming in, chatting with me, and oh, it's fun working on your comic. I enjoy it. Those who are following me, I am on YouTube at Volt Chaos VT, at actually everything. Twitter, Twitch, and stuff at Volt Chaos VT. Just double checked it for everything. So if you're a YouTube watcher, make sure to like in the video. For Twitch, I appreciate those who are watching later on and supporting my work. And want to thank you for all that you've done, and I'm gonna go ahead and I am going to raid out for. Give me a second here. Okay, Ember Paradox.
His gameplay, but when he's talking to the camera and discussing things about the game, seemed far. Am I crazy, or did it not feel that way? It felt like toned down. Oh yeah, it did. Oh, Volch! Thank you for the raid. Thank you for the raid, Volch. You were streaming? When were you streaming?